Adipur Tamaham Bhajami Venom Pananta Maravinda Dalaya Taksham Bharhavatam Samastitam Buddha Sundarangam Gandharvakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shubham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakale Driyavritti Pasyanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jvalang Vigrahasya Govinda Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Shri Shri Brahma Samhitam prayers ki jai. Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Govinda ki jai. I have just shared in the group. Anybody likes to read translation quickly, please? Brahma Samhitam, there's two prayers, Venam Kwanantam and Angani Yasya. Let us read translation, get some meditation, please. Any devotee, please open up in your phones. I'm not sharing. Please open up your phone. You are all connecting phones, and you open up and read the translation, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Translation: the lotus feet of our spiritual master
Adi
are
adi
the only.
then ఇంకోటి అదింది
Which
కదా
one,
ఇంకొక
Prabhu?
వేణుం క్వనంతం అనే సాంగ్ ఉంది చూడండి ఇంకొక ఫైల్
Right, Prabhu.
Yeah, that file open up.
You mean that worship Govinda? That's what you are saying, Prabhu?
Yeah, I worship Govinda by the primeval Lord.
Yeah. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with the head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we'll do also. Okay. Thank you. When I have the opportunity, this is what I do. 7:37, 7:15. To have some feelings of Gachibowli Bhakti Center or feelings of Radha Madan. This is the की जय श्रील गुरुदेव की जय श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा केवलं भक्ति सद्मा बंधु मोहि सावधान जहारा प्रसादे भाई ए भव तोरिया जा कृष्ण प्राप्ति है जा ते कृष्ण प्राप्ति है जा ते Mukha Padmavakya Chitete Koriya Aikya. Anybody likes to follow lyrics of this song? I have shared in the group. Okay, you can open up your phones and follow. I'll ask to read translations also. Yes, please. Gurumukha Padmavakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Arana Kori Homane Asha Arana Kori Homane Asha Sri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttamagati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chakkudan dilo jai janne janne Prabhu say Chakkudan dilo jai janne janne Prabhu say Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Vede Gai Jahara Charito Vede Gai Jahara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhamaje Nara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhamaje Nara Bandhu Lokanath Lokera Jivana Lokanath Lokera Jivana Aha Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Pada Chaya 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 Ebe Josh Gushuk Tribhuvana Ebe Josh Gushuk Tribhuvana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Gurudev Loilu Charana Srila Gurudev Loilu Charana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Gurudeva Jaya Gurudeva Gurudeva Srila Gurudeva Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai Srila Gurudev ki jai. Please read translation. Anybody? Please. It's there in the phone. Hare Krishna. Mataji's and Prabhuji's. Let us be active. No. There is one.
So,
There
the
is
first one, right, Prabhu?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I could not find Prabhuji. Where is the translation?
Gachibowli Satsang, Mataji. You are part of, right? You
Yeah,
are
in
there.
that group only I'm seeing Prabhuji.
Yeah. It's there. Gaudiya Vaishnava personalities. That picture is there.
You can read Mataji. You can
Okay.
find out.
Hare
Can I read,
Krishna.
Prabhuji?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, yeah. Please read. Please read. Yes.
Can I
Thank
read,
you.
Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yes,
Actually, Usha Mataji wanted to read, but did she?
Prabhuji,
Mataji?
you mean for this Guru Vandana translation you have sent Prabhuji?
Correct. Correct. Uh-huh.
But I found only this.
Govinda Mataji.
No, I found this Guru Vandana, but translation I'm not able to trace.
Is there. Is there.
Mataji. First law.
First picture.
First lo unda Mataji. Okay, thank you.
3 slides. The first slide is the
Yeah,
translation.
Yes, Mataji. Now I found.
Mataji. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Read. You read.
Shall I
Please read.
read one? I'll read, Prabhuji. The Lord Hare Krishna, Mataji's Pranamal. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with a great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Read. You can complete, Mataji. You can
Yeah,
only...
okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. My only wish is to have have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with the transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Lokanath Goswami, O Master, be merciful unto me. Give all over the three worlds.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila
Thank you.
Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. With this mood, I'm not qualified, but they are making us to qualified to speak, the gurus, when we follow in the footsteps of Guru Parampara. So I'm remembering all of my, first of all, Siksha Gurus. Through Siksha Gurus only I got connected to my Diksha Guru. But before Siksha Gurus, I got to connected to Pata Pradakshaka Guru, His Grace Ramrati Prabhu from Pune. And my two important, I always remember Siksha Gurus by His Grace Shival Kishore Prabhuji. And my second initiation recommendations by Laguna Beach Temple, His Grace Rupanaga Prabhu and His Grace Tukaram Prabhu, and various Siksha Gurus. And now I'm part of here in Gachibowli Satsang, taking blessings from Lilananda Prabhu and Hanumataji. And thank you so much. And all the wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, please pray for me and keep us, all of us, our family in your prayers. So today is, see, every day is auspicious day only. How can we say that? Every day is auspicious day? Because we are somehow or other connected with holy name. Chanting, reading, hearing, that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Every day is a easy day only, no? Krishna has created this material world, has given time 24 hours a day, 1 week, 1 month, 365 days. So always remember Krishna, never forgets. So these calls helps us to remember Krishna, never forgets. So thank you all of you joining today. So we'll start with Mangalacharana prayer. I'm still struggling to have, my computer is not connecting, but I will do from phone only. Let us have interactive. It's okay. So I'm sitting in car and doing this. Sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Upajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksharanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Muhyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Om Apavitra Pavitro Va Sarvavasangatopi Va Yasmare Pundarekaksham Bahyabhyantaram Sujihi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sabhahyabhyantaram Suchihi, whether internally pure or internally or externally impure, but we are gonna pure by associating like this. Okay, thank you so much. So before starting Bhagavatam, uh, we have some prayers. Let me read. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaivam narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire nashtaprayashu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttamastoke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nandagopakumaraya govindaya namo pankajanaಭಾಯ namo pankajamaline namo pankajanetraya namaste pankajangre. So these are the prayers. So Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Monday to Friday, we have regular calls. Anybody please take advantage of joining Veda Reading Club call. So we are reading wonderful literature written by Srila Prabhupada, translations and purports. Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. These days we are reading Lilamrita also. We are almost done volume 1 and volume 2 we are touching. Almost done actually. Volume 1 and volume 2. The second book we started. Please join Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. When we read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, it's a heart-wrenching story, wonderful story, very inspiring story. So please join these calls. Whoever, every day 8 o'clock to 8:55 before going to offices. Please spend time. Thank you so much. My request. So today we are going to discuss about Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 8. 5th canto, chapter 8. Yesterday wonderfully discussed by His Grace Shri Gopal Prabhu. Now the activities of Bharata Maharaj. Now here, today we are talking about description of character of Bharata Maharaj. His character. So there are 31 verses in this chapter. Okay, 31 verses. In the 31 verses, Mother is given to speak on 15 verses, 1 to 15. So basically, those verses talks about 1 to 7, one section is there, and the 8 to 15, one section is there. 1 to 7 verses, one section. What the section? Bharata brings deer to ashram. How he got attracted, how he is, compassionate. I mean, you can understand there are so many teachings in it. That's the context. 1 to 10 verses talks about Bharata brings deer to ashram. 8 to 15 talks about Bharata's attachment. Okay, that is the context. Those 15 verses. We will read translations and purports. So very few purports written in these 15 verses. So we will complete those purports. And I need some help. Any devotee, can you make host anybody so that they can share the screen so that we can have discussion? That helps me. Until unless this computer, I don't know, it is giving hard time for me. I just bring laptop also, but somehow I couldn't connect internet. Wi-Fi started from my phone. Started. Okay, so anybody make co-host and be active on, please, in the call so that they can share the screen and we can read through. Anybody help me here? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. Is it audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I need some help, Mataji. Somebody needs to share their screen.
Okay, I'll open, Prabhuji.
My phone low open avutలేదు. Laptop lo kuda connect avutలేదు. I just started Wi-Fi also, giving hard time. Nicely capture. మీకు ఒక ఫైల్ కూడా పంపిస్తాను మాతాజీ. Share that first. I'm gonna share that file. You can open that. This is from Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. They have given handy. I always refer those documents. and it's part of our Bhakti Vaibhav also. So I'm just sharing Mataji one file. So you just open that. Phone internet is okay, but I somehow
No
unable to.
problem, Prabhuji. మీరు షేర్ చేయండి, నేను ఓపెన్ చేస్తాను.
Phone internet is working fine, but somehow I couldn't connect in my laptop. Yeah, I'm sharing now. Okay, very nice slide. You can share it with other devotees next week. Whoever starts with the 16th verse.
యా, నిరుపమ మాతాజీ will do.
Acha, okay. I'm sharing now. First, we'll read one-liner statements of this each verse. Then we'll start with the sloka as well as translation. Okay. Thank you so much for patience, all the devotees. Forgive me, I thought that it will open here. Laptop. One second. Okay. Share. Okay, share original file. And then WhatsApp. Okay. Yeah. Just forward it, dear Mataji. Please open that file. Still coming, I think. PDF file. Yeah, you got the PDF Mataji. Please open. Nice, thank you, Mataji. So I'm requesting some devotees. I'll call out names. Please read. Okay. Madhavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Please read this slide from the title itself.
Yeah, okay, Prabhuji. 1 to 7, Bharata brings infant dead to ashram. 1. Bharata chanting on Gandaki bank. 2 to 4, thirsty doe comes to drink water. Doe hears frightening lion roar. She leaped across river. 5 to 6, doe's miscarriage and death. Baby deer fell from its womb into river. Doe fell down in cave and died. 7. Bharata's compassion on motherless deer. Next slide, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Okay. Yes. Next section, I'll ask. Let me see here.
Shall I continue, Prabhu?
Nirupama Mataji, are you there? Would you like to read this slide?
Hare Krishna.
Few more verses.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, I lost my voice, but I'll try to read, Prabhuji.
We lost somebody. It's okay. I lost somebody.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Puja Mataji or Praveen Prabhu. Sirisha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Please read this slide. Context. One-liner.
8 to 15. Bharata's attachment to the deer. 8. Bharata's affection for deer grows. Bharata forgets sadhana. 9 to 10. Philosophy of misplaced compassion. Bharat's misplaced compassion, negligence of personal comforts to protect the surrendered. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So, yes. 8 to 15. Bharata's attachment to the deer. Raju Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. 8 to 15, Bharata's attachment to the deer. 9, philosophy of misplaced compassion. Thoughts about deer. Helpless, forced by time, alone, taken my shelter, totally independent on me, has full faith in me. Thoughts about self, non-envious, selfless, rise, protect, gratify, fondle it. How can I neglect? Though disturbing my spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Next slide, Mataji. The last slide. Okay, please read. Anybody likes to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Mataji, go ahead.
8 to 15, Bharata's attachment to the deer. 11 to 12, attachment and affection. Lay down, walk, bath, ate with heart bound. Always take deer into forest to collect things. 13, attraction to fondle the deer. 14, distraction during rituals. 15, agitation, anxiety and lamentation in separation. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji. These are the one-liner statements. What exactly there in those particular verses? So we'll start with slokas and as well as translation and purpose. Okay, please open Vedabase, Mataji. SB 5.8.1. Yeah, I will recite sloka quickly and then we'll start discussion. Okay. Sri Sukha Uvacha Ekadatu Mahanagyam Abhisheka Avasyaka Brahmaksharam Abhigrana Muhurta Trayam Udake Ante Upavivesha. Translation, I'll read translation. Purport, I'll ask you this. Okay. So most of the, only few Prabhupada written in these 15 verses, purports, mostly translations. So here Sukadeva Goswami continued. My dear king, one day after finishing his morning duties, evacuating, urinating and bathing, Maharaja Bharata sat down on the banks of the river Gandaki for a few minutes and began chanting his mantra, beginning with Omkara. So I have one question to Vendala Mataji. Since you asked that loops of conversation in Srimad Bhagavatam, I have shared the document, Mataji. So can you explain what is going on here? Who is talking to whom? Actually, we are discussions about Bharata Maharaja story. But actually, there are layers of conversation or loops of conversation in the Bhagavatam, right? Open up the document if you want and find out what exactly this SB 5.1 coming into play in those loops of conversation. Vendala Mataji, are you there? Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay. So Bhagavatam first started off conversation with two personalities, not two personalities. Naimisharanya sages, headed by who? Headed by whom? Naimisharanya sages, headed by whom?
Sutta
Sutta
Goswami.
Goswami.
That is started off. But internally, who again? He is discussing, he is talking about, he is sharing about Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. And here Sukadeva Goswami continued means who is telling? Sukadeva Goswami telling to whom?
Parikshit.
Parikshit Maharaj. Yes. He is telling to this story, Bharata Maharaj story. Now that is the second layer of conversation. Okay. Whenever see in between personalities come, Maitreya continued, Maitreya said. That means Vidra Maitreya conversation, like that. Different conversations within the Bhagavatam, different conversations. Okay. So now Shaunaka Rishi headed by Sutta Goswami, and then in their conversation talks about Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. In their conversation, this is the story. Okay. Sukadeva Goswami, what is saying? My dear king, one day, my dear king means who? Parikshit Maharaj. One day after finishing his morning duties, evacuating, urinating, and bathing, Maharaja Bharata sat down on the bank of the river Gandaki. River name also mentions. See, this is what beauty of scripture. Scripture is a historical events. Okay, scripture is not a mythology. I mean, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Ramayanam. These are all Mahabharata. Is some most of the people say that myth. It's not a myth, it is history. That's why see names also. River Gandaki for a few minutes and began his mantra, began chanting his mantra, beginning with Omkara. Next verse. Thank you. Tatra tada rajan harini pipasaya. These different tunes untai. I'm reciting whatever comes into. Tatra tada rajan harini pipasaya jalasaya abhyasam eka eva upajagama. Translation: O king, while Bharata Maharaja was sitting on the bank of that river, a doe, being very thirsty, came there to drink. Akkanchi start ayindi. From there, Bharata Maharaja's attention towards that particular deer, the doe, mother of the deer. Okay, yeah. Text 3. Taya peptyamane udake tavateva avidurena nadataha Rugapate unnada loka bhayankara udapata. While the doe was drinking with great satisfaction. Chala happy ga feel avutundi water taagutu, no? While the doe was drinking with great satisfaction. మనకు థర్స్టీ ఉంటే ఏమైతే మంచిగా బాగా థర్స్టీ ఉన్నప్పుడు మంచి వాటర్ టేస్టీ ఉన్న వాటర్ when we drink, how we feel? So much happy and satisfied. So here also that particular living entity doe is experiencing satisfaction. A lion which was very close, వెంబడే ఇంకోటి ఉంది భయం, frightening element in the form of lion. A lion which was very close roared very loudly. మీకు అందరూ తెలుసు సింహం ఎట్లా గర్జిస్తుందో. So this was frightful to every living entity and it was heard by the doe. So next verse, mother. Text 4. Tam upashrutya samrugavadu prakruti vikalava chakita nirikshana sutaramapi hari bhaya abhinivesha vyagrahridaya pariplava drishtihi agata trishta bhayat sahasa eva uchakrama. Slow down, Mataji. By nature, the doe was always afraid of being killed by others. Etla untaru other living, see, living in the animal kingdom also, some animals are always frightened. That's why lion called king of animals. Other like deer is always fearful, always afraid of being killed by others, and it was always looking about suspiciously. చూస్తారు కదా మనం రీసెంట్ గా మృగవాణి వర్డ్ బిహేవ్ Srisailam, yes. Srisailam, we have seen that some of the deers came out while traveling through that bus. The eyes of the deer always suspiciously, అరే ఎవరు వస్తున్నారు చూసుకుంటుంది అటు ఇటు ఇంకెవరు వస్తుందా ముందు ఎవరు వస్తుందా all the sides అట్లా always looking about suspiciously. When it heard the lion's tumultuous roar, became very agitated, looking here and there with the disturbed eyes. The doe, although it had not fully satisfied itself by drinking water, suddenly leaped across the river. ఇంకా ఫుల్గా పూర్తిగా వాటర్ తాగముందే what happened with the lion's roaring sound, tumultuous roar, English description, tumultuous roaring sound. So what happened? Suddenly leaped across the river. Cross చేద్దామని leaped into the river. Next verse. Tasya utpantya antavardyah urubhaya avagalita yoni nirgatah garbhasrotashi nipapata. Garbha, very important word. Garbha shrotasi nipapata. So you can just start. So this is everything is watching, Bharata Maharaj is watching what's happening here. With attention towards this doe. Okay. The doe was pregnant, and when it jumped out of fear, the baby the baby deer fell from its womb into the flowing waters of the river. Just see the scene. While reading, just see the scene. Meditate what's going on there. Now, purport, very small purport. There is every chance of women's having a miscarriage if she experiences an ecstatic emotion or is frightened. Pregnant women should therefore be spared all these external influences. Prabhupada written this purport. So that is the thing. How miscarriages? Two reasons. With the fearful, completely body is completely fearful situation, or too much ecstatic emotions. So here, fearful condition, the doe deliver the deer. Next verse. Text 6. Tatprasavavut utsarpana bhayakeda atura swaganena viyujyamana kasyanchit daryam Krishna Sarasati nipapatata chamamara. Translation: being separated from its flock and distressed by its miscarriage, the black doe, having crossed the river, was very much distressed. Indeed, it fell down in a cave and died immediately. So now, in this situation, what happens? That fell down in a cave and died immediately. Cross river, yes, Alisibai, and apade just now, deliver the baby, completely weak, and right after reaches a particular, what is that? In a cave, fell down in a cave and died immediately. ఈ సీన్ అంతా చూస్తున్నాడు భరత మహారాజ్. సో ఇక్కడ నుంచి his attachment started. Continue, మాట్లాడు. 5.8.7, so 7th verse. Now this is a good purport. Let us read directly. I am not reciting this sloka because of time. Translation I'll read and I'll ask devotees to read purport. The great king Bharata. So Ikanji Bharata, what is his feelings? What happened to him by looking at this scene? The great king Bharata, while sitting on the bank of the river, saw the small deer, small, very baby, tiny deer, just delivered from the womb of the doe, bereft of its mother, floating down the river. Seeing this, he felt great compassion, like a sincere friend. He lifted the infant deer from the waves and, knowing it to be motherless, brought it to his ashrama. Hare, save Jedam. So these are all actually Krishna's leelas, Situation created Jesus. Krishna created this situation. How he is gonna react? Now we can start. Actually, Bharata Maharaja reached the stage of what stage you all know. What stage he reached? Out of 9. Out of 9, we have 9, right? 9 stages of Bhava stage. Bhava stage and next to Prema stage. All level of devotional service to reach out. But still, what happens? Now see, Krishna tested here. Of course, Krishna not. Other way we can understand. Krishna is giving teachings through Bharata Maharaja. We may fall down at any point of. We may fall down. We may fall down at any point of time. That's where those 9 stages of bhakti is nicely described by Rupa Goswami. Everyone else adi Bhakti Shastri we read. Lavanya, can you recite? You know.
ಶ್ರದ್ಧಾ ಸಾಧುಸಂಗ ಭಜನ ಕ್ರಿಯಾ ಅನರ್ಥ ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ನಿಷ್ಠಾ ರುಚಿ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಭಾವ ಪ್ರೇಮ.
Hari bol, Hari bol. Thank you. There's the 9 stages of bhakti. So here Bharata reached that stage of bhava. So now let us read. Motherless, he got the attraction. He got the attraction as well as he wanted to save. Basically, that's why he picked up that deer from the flowing river and took bring it to his ashram. So let us read translations. Sir, purport. Any devotee who are there, please. I'm not going to ask. So anybody likes to read, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah. It's big purport. Manja.
Yes, Prabhu. The laws of nature work in subtle ways unknown to us. Maharaja Bharata was a great king, very advanced in devotional service. He had almost reached a point of loving service to the Supreme Lord. but even from the platform, he could fall down onto the material platform. In Bhagavad Gita, we are therefore warned. Yam hina vyatantyete purusham purusharbha samadukha sukam dhiram somrutva vayakalpate. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, it is study in both certainly eligible for liberation. Bhagavad Gita 2.15. Spiritual salvation and liberation from the material bondage must be worked out with a great caution. Otherwise, a little discrepancy will cause one to fall down again into the material existence. By studying the activities of Maharaj Bharata, we can learn art of becoming completely freed from all material attachment. As it will be revealed in later verses, Bharata Maharaja had to accept the body of a deer due to the being overly compassionate for the infant deer. We should be compassionate by raising one from the material platform to the spiritual platform. Otherwise, at any moment, our spiritual advance may be spoiled and we may fall down into the material platform. Maharaj Bharata's compassion for the deer was the beginning of his fall down into the material world. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Mata, when you scroll up that verse, I wanted to recite one more time. This verse. Yam hina vyatantyete purusham purusharshava samadukka sukam dhiram somrutavyaya kalpate. BG 2.15. O best among Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is study in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So what happened? Why Prabhupada pointed out this verse? Because here Bharata Maharaja, Bharata Maharaja disturbed. I mean, other way we can, of course, if we are in that position also, we picked up that deer and tried to save. But here this verse talks about not disturbed by happiness and distress, and his study in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So maybe he got attraction also. He wanted to save, but ultimately the small deer, he got attraction maybe. Okay, spiritual salvation, liberation from material bondage must be worked out with great caution. Otherwise, a little discrepancy. What is this little discrepancy for Bharata? Because he got attraction towards the deer. He was watchful from the beginning that doe come to take water. From there, he was watching. What he's saying, he had almost reached the point of loving service to the Supreme Lord, but even from that platform, he could fall down onto the material platform again. Because attachment, I wanted to save this deer. I wanted to save this deer. That means bodily concept of life. I want to save. Bharata Maharaja had to accept the body of a deer due to being overly compassionate for this infant deer. We should be compassionate by raising one from the material platform to the spiritual platform. మనం చూస్తాం how much he has compassion, how much he is lovingly this particular deer, and the next verses we will read. This overly compassionate another we will see in the next verse. How Prabhupada is rated. You can understand in next verses. Next verse, Mataji. Sloka, just direct. Scroll down. Purport is there, na? Yeah. Translation. Gradually, Maharaja Bharata became very affectionate toward the deer. He began to raise it and maintain it by giving it grass. He was always careful to protect it from the attacks of the tigers and other animals. He completely focused on this particular deer only. When it itched, he petted it, and in this way, he always tried to keep it in a comfortable condition. He sometimes kissed it out of love. చిన్న పెరుగుతుంది కదా ఆ డీర్ వెరీ లుకింగ్ నైస్. He got so much attraction from infant to little ఏజ్ వస్తుంది కదా ఆ పర్టికులర్ బాడీకి డీర్కి. సో మచ్ ఆ బాడీలీ అటాచ్మెంట్ అనమాట. Kissed it out of love. These days in India also I am seeing pet dogs, pet cats, you know, so much love they kiss. What kind of this people, huh? He sometimes kissed it out of love. Being attached to raising the deer, Maharaja Bharata forgot the rules and regulations. Adi akanchi starting the Maharaja forgot the rules and regulations for the advancement of spiritual life. Completely forgetfulness for his from his sadhana. And he gradually forgot to worship the Supreme Personality of God. After a few days, he forgot everything about his spiritual advancement. After a few days, he forgot everything about his spiritual advancement. జపము తపము ఇవన్నీ చేసి అన్ని పోయినాయి ఇంకా బికాస్ ఆఫ్ అటాచ్మెంట్ టు ద పర్టికులర్ డీర్ అన్ని సేవలు చేస్తుండే కదా డీర్ ఆ సేవల వల్ల బాడీలో అటాచ్మెంట్ పెరిగిపోయి మర్చిపోయాను అనమాట తన సాధన వాట్ హీ హెస్ టు డూ హీ హెస్ పర్ఫార్మ్ ప్రీవియస్లీ అన్ని మర్చిపోయాడు అనమాట purport. What Prabhupada is wonderfully written here, this purport. Let us have good attention, devotees. Okay. Anybody likes to read this purport?
I'll read Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
From this, we can understand how we have to be very cautious in executing our spiritual duties by observing the rules and regulations and regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If we neglect doing this, we will eventually fall down. We must rise early in the morning, bathe, attend Mangalarti, worship the deities, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, study the Vedic literature, and follow all the rules prescribed by the acharyas and the spiritual master. If we deviate from this process, we may fall down, even though we may be very highly advanced. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.5, Yagnadana Tapaha Karma na tyajam karma karyam evatat yagnodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manisinam. Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great soul. Even if one is in renounced order, he should never give up the regulative principles. He should worship the deity and give his time and life to the service of Krishna. He should also continue following the rules and regulations of austerity and penance. These things cannot be given up. One should not think oneself very advanced simply because one has accepted the sannyasa order. The activities of Bharata Maharaj should be carefully studied for one's spiritual advancement.
Thank you very much, Mataji. First paragraph. Very, very important. This is the Prabhupada words, golden words. We have to attend Mangalarati. I'm concerned actually, no? Mataji, since you are starting this call, you are putting this message into youth preaching group and our main group. So take advantage, devotees. I mean, the serious concern, we have to listen Srila Prabhupada. We have to follow. We are followers of Srila Prabhupada. What is words saying here? So Bharata Maharaj just fell down from his position. So we also, every step we read, at every step, greatest danger is besides sitting, unless we take care of attentive sadhana. From this we can understand how we have to be very cautious in executing our spiritualities by observing the rules and regulations and regularly. Why rules and regulations? No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit second, no gambling. Why? So if we can break all the rules and regulations if we want to stay eternally in material world. If a sincere sadhaka wanted to get rid of sufferings, that's where these instructions, why we take initiation, why we take vows. I'm talking to myself, okay? I'm not there, but definitely Prabhupada mercy, Guru Maharaj mercy, one day definitely with their mercy. So this is a thing, devotees, if we neglect doing this, we will eventually fall down. We must rise early in the morning, bathe, attend Mangalarati, worship the deities, chant the Hare Krishna mantra, study the Vedic literatures, and follow all the rules prescribed by the acharyas and spiritual masters. If we deviate from this process, we may fall down. Simple. That's it. ఇది మన చేతుల్లోనే ఉంది యాక్చువల్లీ. ఇట్ ఈస్ దేర్ ఇన్ అవర్ హ్యాండ్స్ వెదర్ వి రైజ్ అప్ ఆర్ గో డౌన్. either we rise up, ultimately target to go back, come back to that, or it's up to us, See, devotional life is voluntary as well as self-motivated process, self-motivated process. It's not somebody force. It's not a forceful event or forceful thing. Somebody has to do voluntarily, self-motivated, and that motivation towards pleasing the Supreme Lord. Study the Vedic scriptures, Vedic literature regularly. Morning calls is best utilization. Please join. This is my marketing call also now. And follow all the rules prescribed by the acharyas and the spiritual master. If we deviate from this process, we may fall down, even though we may be very highly advanced, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.5. Again, another particular verse Prabhupada quoted in his purport. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. That's where I like very much, when he pointed out different verses from different scriptures. In connection with this verse, Prabhupada pointed out 18.5. What is saying? Yajnadana tapakarma natyajyam karyameva yatat యజ్ఞోదానం తపశ్చైవ పావనాని మనీషిన. ఒక మనిషి అయితే, ఒక వ్యక్తి అయితే ఏం చేయాలి? ఆస్టెరిటీ. హ్యూమన్ లైఫ్ ఈజ్ మెంట్ ఫర్ సెల్ఫ్ రియలైజేషన్. హ్యూమన్ లైఫ్ ఈజ్ మెంట్ ఫర్ sacrifice. Human life is meant for austerity, penance. Durlabha manusha janma. There is one verse, there is one song, beautiful song, we all know. What is that verse? What is that song?
Bajahure mana.
Bajahure, thank you, Mataji. Bajahure mana, Srinanda Nandana, Abhaya Charana Ravindara. Durlabha manava janama satsang. ఎట్లాంటి సత్సంగంలో పోతాం, ఎట్లాంటి సంఘంలో పోతాం? Either satsang or nitsang or material sang. It depends upon our consciousness. This is what yajna, dana, tapa, karma. Evaru cheyali ivi? Human beings cheyalsindi. Natyajam karyameva tat. Acts of sacrifice, charity, penance are not given up, but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, penance purify even the great soul. Why we need to do austerity, penance, tapa? Enduku chestam? Prabhupada writes in a beautiful word, to purify our existence. To purify our existence. Yes. What is our existence? This existence formed into different bodies in previous lives because of our desires. Now we have to purify from bodily concept of life to soul concept of life, self-realization. We have 12 verse signs of self-realization. It's a starting point of our devotional life, right? We are all coming into, I come in the process by DYS, Radhesham Prabhu, in corporate preaching. Discover yourself. You all come through the, Lilananda Prabhu, signs of self-realization sessions, starting point. Yes, we are wonderful. We are wonderful devotees. Yes, we all have to have a self-motivated to practice in bhakti. This is the topmost. Every other pastime ultimately ends with what? Ultimately ends with just lift the process. Let's just enter into the lifting process of devotional service. Lift or escalator. Just go into that, reach the button of devotional life and go back to it. That's it. Not stepped process. Stepped process of jnana, karma, ashtanga yoga, dhyana yoga, whatever, different yogas. But bhakti yoga inclusive. This is the inclusivity. This is the fulfillment we get. This process, bhakti yoga process. Anyway, he should worship the deity and give up his time and life to the service of Krishna. He should also continue following the rules, and this is what it is given. The set rules for a sadhaka. Next verse, Mataji. Next verse, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yeah. Scroll down. Purport also there, na? Yeah. Let me read translation and purport over to you. Anybody likes to read? Please read. Be ready. Unmute yourself and be ready. Translation and purport by Abhay Chananda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great king Maharaja Bharata began to think, alas, this helpless young deer, by the force of time, an agent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has now lost its relatives. friends and has taken shelter of me. It does not know anyone but me. His feelings, as I have become his father, mother, brother, and relatives. Nene mottam seva, nene mottam take care. Chestunna. This deer is thinking in this way, and it has full faith in me. It does not know anyone but me. అది కూడా ఆ డీర్ కూడా అట్లా ఫీల్ అవుతుంది. Therefore, I should not be envious and think that for the deer, my own welfare will be destroyed. I should certainly raise, protect, gratify, and fondle it. When it has taken shelter with me, how can I neglect it? Even though the deer is disturbing my spiritual life, I realize that a helpless person who has taken shelter cannot be neglected. That would be a great fault. So he's understanding Bhartamara. But he's saying, how can I neglect this deer? Even though the deer is disturbing my spiritual life, I realize that a helpless person who has taken shelter cannot be neglected. That would be a great fault. Purport, please read anybody.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. When a person is advanced in spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness, he naturally becomes very sympathetic toward all living entities suffering in the material world. Naturally, such an advanced person thinks of the suffering of the people in general. However, if one doesn't know of the material sufferings of fallen souls and becomes sympathetic because of the bodily comforts, as in the case of Bharata Maharaja, such sympathy or compassion is the cause of one's downfall. If one is actually sympathetic to fallen suffering humanity, he should try to elevate people from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. As far as the deed was concerned, Bharata Maharaja became very sympathetic, but he forgot that it was impossible for him to elevate a deer to spiritual consciousness because, after all, a deer is but an animal. It was very dangerous for Bharata Maharaja to sacrifice all his regulative principles simply to take care of an animal. The principles enunciated in Bhagavad Gita should be followed. Yam hina vetayanti ete purushar As far as the material body is concerned, we can't do anything for anyone. However, by the grace of Krishna, we may raise a person to spiritual consciousness if we ourselves follow the rules and regulations. If we give up our own spiritual activities and simply become concerned with the bodily comforts of others, we will fall into a dangerous position. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna. So one important point, just let me read here. However, if one does not know of the material sufferings of fallen souls and becomes sympathetic because of the bodily comforts, as in the case of Bharata Maharaja, such sympathy or compassion is the cause of one's fall down. So, wrong way of compassionate. If one is actually sympathetic to fallen suffering humanity, he should try to. Solution is this one. If one is actually sympathetic to fallen suffering humanity, he should try to elevate people from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. As far as the deer was concerned, Bharata Maharaja became very sympathetic, but he forgot that it was impossible for him to elevate a deer to spiritual consciousness. Dangerous. It was very dangerous for Bharata Maharaja to sacrifice all his regulative principles simply to take care of an animal. So basically, with attachment arises, and his feelings and deer's feelings also. He thought that I am only the caretaker. I am only the caretaker, just like mother, father, relatives, whoever like. He has the feelings of sympathy. So that too much attachment. నేను లేకపోతే ఇంకా ఇది లేదు అని. So that is a problem where he downfall. Causes of downfall is too much attachment. Next verse. Scroll down. Yeah. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Even though one is in the renounced order, one who is advanced certainly feels compassion for suffering living entities. One should certainly neglect his own personal interests, although they may be very important to protect one who has surrendered. Any Prabhujis or Matajis like to read? Let's read. ఇంకా రెండో మూడో వరుసలు ఉంటాయి ఇట్లా పర్పోట్లు అన్ని మీకు నచ్చినాయి. ప్లీజ్
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
మాతాజీ పద్మ
Dandavat.
దండవత్ ప్రణామం ప్లీజ్
Shall I read? Dandavat. Shall I?
రీడ్ మాత.
Maya is okay. Maya is very strong in the name of philanthropy, altruism, and communism. People are feeling compassion for suffering humanity throughout the world. Philanthropists and altruists do not realize that it is impossible to improve people's material conditions. Material conditions are already established by the superior administration according to one's karma. They cannot be changed. The only benefit we can render to suffering being is to try to raise them to spiritual consciousness. Material comforts cannot be increased or decreased. It is therefore said in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18, Tal labhyate dukkavad antyaha sukham. As far as material happiness is concerned, that comes without efforts, just as tribulations come without effort. Material happiness and pain can be attained without endeavor. One should not bother for material activities. If one is at all sympathetic or able to do good to others, he should endeavor to raise people to Krishna consciousness. In this way, everyone advances spiritually by the grace of the Lord. For our instruction, Bharat Maharaja acted in such a way. We should be very careful not to be misled by so-called welfare activities conducted in bodily terms. One should not give up his interest in attaining the favor of Lord Vishnu at any cost. Generally, people do not know this or they forget it. Consequently, they sacrifice their original interest, the attainment of Vishnu's favor, and engage in philanthropic activities for bodily comfort. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So basically, these 9th and 10th verses, philosophy of misplaced compassion. Misplaced compassion. That's why we see, no? He has sympathy. It's a misplaced. Thoughts about the deer again. And there's a 9A, 9B, 910 we read from this PDF. So what he's saying here, thoughts about him. I should not be envious and neglect the deer, but selflessly raise, protect, gratify, and fondly renounce persons who are cultured and cultured and saintly should neglect their important interest to protect the surrendered. One note point is Bharata forgot that it was impossible for him to elevate a deer to spiritual consciousness. మాతో నేను బుక్ కూడా తెచ్చుకున్నా మంచిగా ప్రిపేర్ అయ్యేదా ఇక్కడ చెప్దామని. అది భాగవత సుబోధిని బుక్ లోంచి చదువుతున్నాం. సో ఇట్స్ నాట్ దేర్, దట్స్ జస్ట్ స్లైడ్స్. ఓకే, సో భరత ఫర్గాట్ దట్ ఇట్ వాస్ ఇంపాసిబుల్ ఫర్ హిమ్ టు ఎలివేట్ ఎ డీర్ టు స్పిరిచువల్ కాన్షియస్నెస్. సో హియర్ వాట్ ఈస్ సేయింగ్ Srila Prabhupada, mama maya duratya. That's where Prabhupada written maya is very strong. Krishna himself saying that one, mama maya daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratya. But mama eve prapadyante maya mitantarante. Whoever surrender unto me, they can easily cross over this material nature. But maya, different terms according to different context you can understand. So here maya is very strong. In the name of philanthropy, altruism, communism, people are feeling compassion for suffering humanity. He is talking about general people, right? What's going on in the world? Philanthropists, altruists do not realize that it is impossible to improve people's material conditions. So those material conditions are already established by the superior administration according to one's karma. They cannot be changed. See, that's the thing. Whatever you destined to get, you get it. Whether good karma, bad karma, whatever there, if you are destined to get. So in this life, for example, you have to suffer this time. You have to suffer, that's it. There is no other way. You cannot escape it. That's the thing. So material conditions are like that only. According to one's destiny, one's karma. They cannot be changed. Prabhupada writes important point. The only benefit we can render to suffering beings is to try to raise them to spiritual consciousness. Okay. Wonderful verse pointed from Bhagavatam 1.5.18. Tal labhyate dukkavad antya sukham. And see, as far as material happiness concerned, it can be attained without endeavor. The same pain, sufferings also, Without endeavor, one should not bother for material activities. Without effort, just as tribulations come without effort. ఎట్లయితే రాసి పెట్టుందో అది జరుగుతుంది అంతేగా. You cannot change it. It has to happen. That's it. Material happiness and pain can be attained without endeavor. One should not bother for material activities. If one is at all sympathetic or able to do good others, you should endeavor to raise people to Krishna consciousness. Wonderful teaching, no? So, what is sympathy we have? See, Prabhupada shown sympathy to the Western people by giving this knowledge at the age of 70 years old. We are reading Srila Prabhupada Lilananda, how he got ticket, how he landed over here in Boston. From there, he went to Butler, Pennsylvania. How he was staying, how he started this movement. Everything is there in the Lilananda. So he tried, Prabhupada tried, since he has written the Acharya, Acharana. It's not only written, he follows it and he applies it. He did it actually. That's the thing. So, spiritual consciousness, he wanted to, based on his instruction of his Guru Maharaja, he wanted to reach in Western communities, especially US. He started his preaching mission in New York City, 1965, Second Avenue. Raise that helps, that is greatest sympathy that we can show towards any living entity, to give the Krishna consciousness. That's the thing. So in this way, everyone advances spiritually by the grace of the Lord. By the grace of the Lord. For our instruction, Bharata Maharaja acted in such a way, we should be very careful not to be misled by so-called welfare activities. Different welfare activities, maybe it will give some good karma, but it won't solve the real problems of life. Real problems of life solved by only devotional service. What are the real problems? We all know. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Right? Philanthropy, different activities, social welfare activities. Okay, good. It accumulates good karma, but it cannot solve the real problems of life. Next verse, Mata. Due to this verse, I will read. Iti krita anusanga asana sayanatana snanasanadishu sahamruga jahuna snehanubadda hridaya asit. Due to attachment for the deer, Maharaja Bharata lay down with it. He consisted, walked about with it, bathed with it, and even ate with it. Thus his heart become bound to the deer in affection. Very good. So, inka attachment పెరుగుతుందన్నమాట. Next verse. Text 12. Text 12. Purport also there. Anybody be ready? Please read translation also. Any devotee? Translation as well as purport. Anybody who have not read till now, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation. Where Maharaja Bharata wanted to, when Maharaja Bharata wanted to enter the forest to collect kusha grass, flowers, wood, leaves, fruits and water, he would fear that dogs, jackals, tigers and other ferocious animals might kill the deer. He would therefore always take the deer with him when entering the forest. Purport. How Maharaja Bharata increased his affection for the deer is described herein. Even such an exalted personality as Bharata Maharaja, who had attained loving affection for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, fell down from his position due to his affection for some animal. Consequently, as will be soon, he had to accept the body of the deer in his next life. Since this was the case with Bharata Maharaja, what can we say of those who are not advanced in spiritual life, but who become attached to cats and dogs? Due to their affection for their cats and dogs, they have to take the same bodily forms in the next life, unless they clearly increase their affection and love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless we increase our faith in the Supreme Personality, Supreme Lord, we shall be attracted to many other things. That is the cause of our material bondage. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So this is the thing. So what he is saying in this translation of our book, what he is doing, Bharata Maharaja wanted to enter the forest to collect pusha grass, flowers, wood leaves, fruits, roots, water. He would fear that the dogs, jackals, tigers, and other ferocious animals might kill the deer. He would therefore always take care of the deer with him when entering the forest. But that's the thing. Yeah, wherever he go, he took that deer along with him. Okay. So this is what increased affection towards the deer. Okay. And here fell down from his position due to his affection for some animal. So Prabhupada writes, what to speak of this one? It's a great exemplary, personality of Bharata Maharaja, how he attached to the particular deer. Now we see, especially when Prabhupada was there, he has seen with his own naked eyes. People are too much attached to maintaining cats and dogs. Too much attachment to cats, dogs, next life is that one. They become cats and dogs. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Due to their affection for their cats and dogs, they have to take the same bodily forms. Okay. Unless, very important statement, unless they clearly increase their affection. Unless they clearly increase their affection and love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unless we increase our faith in the Supreme Lord, we shall be attracted to many other things. That is the cause of our material bondage. That's where that one statement is there now. Prabhupada says, attached to Krishna, detached to Maya. Where we place, where we put our consciousness, either on material things or spiritual activities, that leads to next life. Material life has two lives only. Material life, different bodies, different planetary systems. Or spiritual life, we get our own Swarupa. With that Swarupa, we serve Supreme Lord eternally. Our constitutional position. We all know. Jivera Swarupa, Krishna Nityadas. In that Nityadasa only, we have some melos, relationship with Krishna. That's the thing. Unless that is important, unless they clearly increase their affection and love for Supreme Lord of God. Otherwise, same form. A bodily concept of life. We have to suffer. Simple, we have to suffer. Unless we increase our faith in the Supreme Lord, we shall be attracted to many other things. That is the cause of our material bondage. So many material allurements, somebody attached to different cars, different bungalows, many things actually, many things. Somebody attached to too much eating. What is saying? Material things. To many other material things means I'm thinking. We can think any number of material things. That's the thing. Basically, just want to add one point here. The more we have materialistic things, the more we have accumulation mode, the more we have to think in that. What happens to that bungalow? What happens to that land? Our mind kills the time, thinking in those. That's where Prabhupada, why he has given that statement, simple living and high thinking. Simple life one has to lead, and high thinking, that means practicing bhakti. That is the ultimate thing. That's the thing. We have to think whatever items we have, whatever things we have to use it for Krishna's service. That is another way of understanding using for Krishna's service. Yes, if you have 20 bungalows, lands, using for Krishna's service, build nice temples, open for these homes for satsangs. Same material thing only, using for Krishna's service, that leads to liberation actually. Our Sakya Prema Prabhu Bhakti Center, that place is given now. Sakya Prema Prabhu, he lives in Dallas, Texas. In the morning, he sent me a message for the wishes of our, anniversary. I wonderful to know his son is nicely progressing. He said, how is your family and everything? I asked him, what he's saying. Sakya Prema's son, I know, but Dallas, when I was there, I met him. He was a wonderful singer, trained singer. I mean, classical singer, I think. That's the thing. Classical singer, and he's saying recently Radhesham Prabhu, our Shiksha Guru, main Shiksha Guru, our Lilananda Prabhu, our Shiksha Guru. Okay. Radhesham Prabhu travels to US recently, and one of the destination in Dallas, Texas. He spent 2 days there. He was very much impressed by Sakya Prema Prabhu's son's activities, youth preacher. He is working in some company, but along with his company, he is doing this seva of youth preaching, guided by Radhesham Prabhu. Right? These are the inspiring things, you know. The family, the whole family is Krishna consciousness. It's with a nominal renting. He has given that wonderful place called, you know, our center, Bhakti Center Gachibowli. So he is sharing his happiness. I'm very happy, Prabhu. My son is now nicely progressing, nicely preaching in the colleges. Radhesham Prabhu is very much appreciated. So that's what it is. Why I'm saying, same here, spiritual consciousness, using our talents, using everything in Krishna's service. Next verse, Mataji. Text 13. Very small translation. Purport. Lavanya, please read.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. When entering the forest, the animal would appear very attractive to Maharaj Bharata due to its childish behavior. Maharaj Bharata would even take the deer on his shoulders and carry it due to affection. His heart was so filled with great love for the deer and that he would sometimes keep it on his lap or when sleeping on his chest. In this way, he felt great pleasure in fondling the animal. Purport. Maharaj Bharata left his home, wife, children, kingdom, and everything else to advance his spiritual life in the forest. But again, he fell victim to material affection due to his attachment to an insignificant pet deer. What then was the use of his renouncing his family? One who is serious in advancing his spiritual life should be very cautious not to become attached to anything but Krishna. Sometimes, in order to preach, we have to accept many material activities, but we should remember that everything is for Krishna. If we remember this, there is no chance of our being victimized by material activities. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Lavanya. Thank you. So this is the thing. Huh? Again, same. We sometimes, in order to preach, we have to accept many material activities. Prabhupada also utilized, you know, different luxury cars to serve Krishna only. One time, one reporter asked to Srila Prabhupada, you are a Swami, and you know this devotee is offering wonderful these things. How you take it? Yeah, they are very rich. They wanted to serve me. I am using for Krishna service. That is what is the answer. Using for Krishna service. That's what it is. Sometimes, in order to preach, we have to accept many material activities, but we should remember that everything is for Krishna. If we remember this, there is no chance of our being victimized by material activities. Any activity, actually, you know, any activities, if keeping Krishna in the center, not victimized. Nice. Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya. Rupa Goswami's principle, we all know. What is that Yukta Vairagya? Beautiful verse. What is that verse? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Anyabhilashita shunyam. If we have abhilasha for material things, we may fall down just like Bharata Maharaj. If abhilasha towards Krishna conscious and related activities, we get attraction towards Krishna, attachment towards Krishna by doing so. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Another beautiful verse also he has given. How can we get that Anya Abhilashita? Anya Abhilashita, etla vastadi? By using our tongue. Using our tongue only, majority of the times. Ata Sri Krishna Namadi, Nabhaved Grashyam Indriyai, Sevon Mukhe Jihwado, Swayam Eva Spuratyadaha. Ata Sri Krishna Namadi. Em cheyali tongue tonu? Krishna Namani japam cheyali. Right? Ata Sri Krishna Namadi. Nabhaved Grashyam Indriyai. Basically, Indriyam. What is that Indriya? Sense, especially son. How we are subsiding? By eating, right? By eating foodstuffs, it satisfies belly so that we get energy. We are living. majority portion in our body, tongue. Two propensity, right? Eating propensity and eating propensity as well as speaking propensity. The propensity to speak, the propensity to eat. చెత్త చెత్త తింటే చెత్తనే తయారవుతుంది కాన్షియస్నెస్. చెత్త చెత్త మాట్లాడితే మన బతుకు అంతా కూడా చెత్త లైఫ్ అయిపోతుంది. ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ టు మై సెల్ఫ్. ఓకే, సారీ. చెత్త అనే వర్డ్ ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేసిన అంటే అట్లా కొట్టేసుకుంటేనే భక్తి సిద్ధాంత సరస్వతి గోస్వామి వారు ఏం చెప్తారు, ఎవ్రీ మార్నింగ్ టేక్ చెప్పల్ అండ్ హిట్ ద హెడ్, మైండ్ కొట్టాలి, అట్లా కొట్టుకోవాలి, లేకపోతే చెప్పినట్టు ఏందని. ఆచార్య అన్న అలాంటి వాడు చెప్తున్నాడు, అది ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్. అప్పుడప్పుడు మనకు మనం తిట్టుకోవాలి డివోటీస్. యాక్చువల్లీ టూ మచ్ మనకు మనం తిట్టుకుంటే మనం బాగుపడతాం. ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఫర్ మీ, ఐఎమ్ థిట్టింగ్ మై సెల్ఫ్. నెక్స్ట్ వర్స్ మాతాజీ. ఈ గాట్ సో మచ్ అటాచ్మెంట్ అగైన్, ఆ డీర్తోనే పండుకోవడము, ఆ మొత్తం సేవలు, ఇంకా అన్ని సేవలు చేస్తూ టూ మచ్ అటాచ్ అయిపోయి అన్ని మర్చిపోయాను. ఇంకా ఏం చేస్తాడు పాపం. ఈ ప్లేస్ ఈజ్ కాన్షియస్నెస్ టువర్డ్స్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ డీర్. కృష్ణాస్ విల్ అంతా మనకి పాఠాలు నేర్పడానికి. బేసికలీ యూ వుడ్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఇట్ ఇన్ దట్ వే. దీస్ ఆర్ ద లెసన్స్ ఫర్ అవర్ బెనిఫిట్. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ వర్స్ మాతాజీ వచ్చిందా 14, లాస్ట్ 2 words, this verse and one more verse, that's it. Anyone likes to read translation and purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Satyadev Prabhu, go ahead.
Translation. When Maharaj Bharata was actually worshipping the Lord or was engaged in some ritualistic ceremony, although his activities were unfinished, he would still at intervals get up and see where the deer was. In this way, he would look for it, and when he could not see that the deer was comfortably situated, his mind and heart would be very satisfied, and he would bestow his blessings upon the deer, saying, "My deer, my calf, may you be happy in all respects." Purport.
Read, Prabhu.
Yeah. Because his attraction for the deer was so intense, Bharat Maharaj could not concentrate upon worshipping the Lord or performing his ritualistic ceremonies. Even though he was engaged in worshipping the deity, his mind was restless due to his influence, due to his inordinate affection. While trying to meditate, he would simply think of deer, wondering where it had gone. In other words, if one's mind is distracted from worshipping, a mere show of worship will not be of any benefit. The fact that Bharat Maharaj had to get up and at intervals and look for the deer was simply a sign that he would fall down from the spiritual platform. Hare Krishna.
This particular verse, thank you, Prabhuji. This particular verse talks about, distraction, distracting, always distracting. Even though he's performing Naam ke vaste chestunnadu, but his mind always in the deer only. Distraction, right, basically. While he was worshipping the Lord, he would at intervals get up and see where the deer was. Seeing it, he would be satisfied and bless it, saying, "My dear calf, may you be happy in all respects." Mottam his consciousness is filled with this deer. Yam vapi smaran bhavam tajate ante kalevaram tam tam bhaveti tadbhava tadbhavita. And that means what he's saying, Krishna only given that instruction to him in the Bhagavad Gita. Yam vapi smaran bhavam tajate ante kalevaram. Ante kalevaram. He is completely attached to deer. His consciousness filled with deer related thoughts. Next life he become deer. But wonderful thing that Krishna has given to that particular deer is human consciousness, not animal consciousness, because of his pious deeds in previous life when he was Bharata Maharaja. That is another thing. Because of his attraction for the deer, he was so intense. Bharata Maharaja would not concentrate upon worshipping. Anta goindi concentration. While trying to meditate, he would simply think of the deer. That is the thing. Mere show of worship. Atla chesundu. Namke vaste chesundu. it would not be any benefit. It will not be of any benefit. The fact that Bharata Maharaj had to get up at intervals to look for the deer was simply a sign that he had fallen down from the spiritual position. Spiritual position nunchi fall down, what does it mean? He's unable to concentrate basically. It's so nice, once upon a time, everything is gone. He's completely focusing on this particular animal. Next verse was the last verse for today. Thank you. I took little overtime because it has to supposed to end by 8:30. Thank you so much for your patience to now bear with me because of I joined little late because of travel. Yes, last verse for today. Let me read translation and purport by Abhay Chanana Bhakti. If sloka also let me read. Mother, scroll up there, please. Let me read sloka also. I get little happiness when I do sloka. Scroll down. Scroll down. Yeah, నాకు synonyms చూస్తూ చేస్తా ఇట్లాంటి పెద్ద ఉన్నప్పుడు when I see this kind of verses I do with the synonyms so that Prabhupada separated nicely in Sanskrit. So I will find some tune and placing in the recitation. Anyada brisham udvignamana nastadravina iva kripana sakarunam atitarshena harina kunaka విరహ విహ్వల హృదయ సంతప తమేవ అనుశోచంతిల కస్మలం మహద్ అభిరాంభితః ఇతిహ ఉవాచ. ఏం చెప్తున్నాడు ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ పర్పూర్ బై శ్రీల ప్రభుపాద కి జై. ఇఫ్ భరత మహారాజా sometimes could not see the deer, his mind would be very agitated. అజిటేషన్ వస్తుంది ఆ డీర్ని చూడకపోతే. ఒక్కసారి స్క్రోల్ డౌన్ చేశారు. If Bharata Maharaja sometimes could not see the deer, his mind would be very agitated. ఈ విషయం జరగకపోతే మనం అంత ఫీల్ అవుతాం కదా. మన మైండ్ వై వి గెట్ అజిటేషన్, ఇది ఇట్లా జరగలే, ఇది ఇట్లా యాక్ట్ చేయలే, ఇట్లా జరగలేదు, రాలేదు, కనిపించట్లేదు నాకు, ఇది డీర్ ఎక్కడ పోయింది, అరే ఏమైంది. He would become like a miser who, having obtained some riches, had lost them and had then become very unhappy. When the deer was gone, he would be filled with anxiety and would lament due to separation. Thus, he would become illusion and speak as follows. Next section anta kuda Bharata Maharaja's lamentation in separation with the deer. A deer వెళ్ళిపోతే ఇంకా ఉండదు కదా, స్టోరీ ఉంటుంది. నెక్స్ట్ those are the verses. Another ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి అక్కడ, 31 verses ఉన్నాయి. Another devotee picks up next Saturday. Okay, that is what from 16 to 31 verses. Bharata's lamentation and separation. Those are the verses. So from here, we see a very important thing in this purport. Let us read. Let me read. If a poor man loses some money or gold, he at once becomes very agitated. జరిగేది, అరే నా డబ్బులు పోయినాయి, నా బంగారం అయింది, దొంగిలించింది, ఇదంటే ఉంటుంది కదా అజిటేషన్, మైండ్ అజిటేషన్. అదే థింక్ చేస్తాం, ఇట్లా పోయింది థింక్ చేస్తాం కదా. Yeah. Similarly, the mind of Maharaja Bharata would become agitated when he did not see the deer. This is an example of the instructions. This is an example of how our attachment can be transferred. If our attachment is transferred to the Lord's service, we progress. Srila Rupa Goswami prayed to the Lord that he would be as naturally attracted to the Lord's service as young men and young women are naturally attracted to each other. Example is this one. Material example. See, why we take material examples? To understand philosophy, to understand these concepts clearly. What is saying? Young man and young woman so nicely attracted, because of the bodily beauty, because of the age, because of the energy. So that's the thing. Likewise, our attraction towards Supreme Lord is like. So he is actually eternal young. Supreme Lord is eternal young. 16-year-old boy. Radharani is young, very beautiful. Radharani and Supreme Lord. Rupa Goswami's meditation. Rupa Goswami is what he's saying. Just like attracts towards a young man, woman, give me the same attraction. That is his prayer. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited such attachment to the Lord when he jumped in the ocean or cried at night in separation. That's called Vipralamba Bhava. Feelings of separations. Vipralamba Bhava. However, if our attachment is diverted to material things instead of to the Lord, we will fall down from the spiritual platform. So simple thing. From these verses, everything, Bharata Maharaja, Bharata Maharaja is attracted to a particular deer, and he got so much attachment. You can unshare, Mata. Done. Done, Mata. So this is the thing. Our attachment, where we place. Basically, this teaching exception. Where we place our attachment. If we place our attachment, if we think, if we do our, if we use our consciousness in Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. Consciousness feelings, basically consciousness spread entire the body, the entire body consciousness is there. If we pinch the, the skin, we feel the pain. If we eat, we feel the experience of the tasting. Mind, that's where consciousness is entire in our body. Krishna consciousness, especially mind. In our body, the major element, of course, subtle element, mind. Mindful about Krishna. If we mindful about material things, our mind distracted, just like Bharat Maharaj. The ultimate conclusion of these teachings are, attached to Krishna and detached to Maya. Maya is a broader meaning we have. Materialistic way of life, sense gratification, bodily concept of life, enjoying propensity, not thinking about Krishna. This is the thing. Few points I want note points in it. Just to read. Let me read. Our compassion should raise others from the material platform to the spiritual. Otherwise, it can spoil our spiritual advancement. That false compassion actually. Bharata Maharaj's compassion is not utilized in Krishna consciousness. Due to that compassion, he attached actually. Our compassion should raise others from the material platform to the spiritual. Otherwise, it can spoil our spiritual advancement. One more note point. Bharata forgot that it was impossible for him to elevate a deer to spiritual consciousness. So these are the things: attraction, distraction, agitation, anxiety, lamentation in separation. Ivanni qualities eppudu vastayi when we place our consciousness in material things. When we place our consciousness in material things. So that's what it is. We always have to be in Krishna consciousness. We always have to take association of devotees so that we get interest. With that interest, we practice bhakti. So that we get inspiration with association of the devotees. Oh, they are doing nicely. Let me do also. Let me try little. Okay, not like them, but let me try to do little. Okay, it is a thing. So that's where it's all about. Association matters. Material association or devotional association. Satsanga or nitsanga or kutsanga. Those that leads. So in bhakti, we need all of your association. Everybody requires association. Everybody looking for, hankering for association to place our consciousness in Krishna. Otherwise, Bharata Maharaj, just like Bharata Maharaj's life, we are also at the stage of bhava. Held down. That's the thing. So let us use every opportunity in devotional life. Every opportunity. Thank you, all of you there, including me, my wife, other 11 devotees there, here. Let us all have seriousness in bhakti actually. Bharata Maharaj's teachings are is a exemplary teaching. With that we learn something. Seriousness. Prabhupada writes, Mangalarati, wake up and rise early, take bath, come to the Mangalarati, attend all the prayers and chant, follow regulatory principles, Vedic principles. ఎన్నిసార్లు అయిపోయినంటే కొన్ని వందల సార్లు అయిపోయినట్టు in his purports. If you find
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Purports. Yes, Prabhuji. So that's done with my class. Thank you so much for the opportunity. You can ask questions, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Shilpa Mataji and Lilananda Prabhu, Gachibowli Bhakti Center ki jai. Grandaral Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Prabhuji. Dandavata.
Does anybody have any question? Let us have another 2-3 minutes and we can wrap up. Already 9:05. Thank you again. So sorry,
Prabhuji,
wanted to give nice screen sharing and this thing. Thank you, Shilpa Mataji, for helping me out for this screen
Prabhuji,
sharing.
spiritual compassion, material compassion ki అంటే difference ఏంటి Prabhuji?
Spiritual compassion leads to bhakti, Prabhu. That means we are distributing books. Okay, best thing, na? Distributing books is a compassionately we are distributing. That person may come in contact with devotees and practice bhakti. Many examples there, many stories are there. You know, somebody got Bhagavad Gita from dustbin. Somebody not did that. Somebody got Bhagavad Gita and thrown it. Somebody got some eating club from Bhagavad Gita and dustbin. And he goes back. So spiritual compassion, yes, material compassion is just like for the
Prabhuji వాయిస్ రావట్లేదు.
Prabhuji, ఓకేనా? ఓకేనా?
ఇప్పుడు ఓకే Prabhuji.
కార్లో కూర్చొని వచ్చాను ఈరోజు మా ఊర్లో ప్రభుజీ మెటీరియల్ కంపాషన్
హరే కృష్ణ.
రావట్లేదా వాయిస్?
చాలా లో అయిపోయింది Prabhuji.
హరే కృష్ణ కృష్ణ కృష్ణ
Yes Prabhuji.
హరే రామ రామ హరే హరే. సో దట్స్ ద థింగ్. మెటీరియల్ కంపాషన్ అంటే ఇదే ప్రభు, ఈ అటాచ్ టు దిస్ డీర్ అండ్ దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ గుడ్. మెటీరియల్ కంపాషన్ ఉండొచ్చు. స్పిరిచువల్ కంపాషన్ ఈస్ directing towards Krishna actually. Whatever activity it has to directing towards to Krishna. Book distribution, we are spreading this knowledge, deity worship, prasadam distribution as you do every satsang you do, you are doing wonderful service. That is spiritual compassion. Yes, you are doing. You have just an example of you, Prabhuji. I'll take. You have your time. The time is using for Krishna. Compassionately serving. Right? Compassionately serving, no, Prabhu. That is right. That is good. Spiritual compassion. Material compassion. Material compassion leads to attachment. Spiritual compassion leads to liberation. That's what it is. Prabhu. You got it, Prabhu?
Yes Prabhuji. అంటే కంపాషన్ విత్ డిటాచ్మెంట్ ఉంటే దట్స్ కాల్డ్ స్పిరిచువాలిటీ అనుకోవచ్చా?
అంటే ఇక మెటీరియల్ కంపాషన్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు మెటీరియల్ కంపాషన్ అంటే ఇక్కడ కూడా చెప్పచ్చు. సేవ్ బాడీ. ఇప్పుడు ఈయన భరత మహారాజ్ ఏం చేశాడు? ఈ సేవ్డ్ దట్ these from the flowing river right after delivery of the show. Okay, so body, saving the body, but spiritual compassion to save the soul. Body save cheyachchu nearly. Okay, body save cheyachchu, but he cannot save the soul, no. But he has to give, actually he has to give Krishna consciousness by performing. If we understand that way, Prabhu, I mean, Bharatamar, if we continuously perform his sadhana along with deer, the deer may be delivered actually. But he got the material compassion for that body, the deer's body, and he's not giving the deer also having soul, no? The word soul nature, Anandamaya Bhyantu, that also. The deer also, there is a chance of deer also can be able to deliver when he does regular. Maharaj Parishit body is performing bhakti. If he continue, the deer also may be saved, but he is attached. He's compassionate, but it is material compassionate towards the body of deer. Whereas spiritual consciousness, it is the saving the soul from the clutches of Maya. Saving the soul. Or, delivering the soul from delivering fallen conditions, because spiritual compassion only. Guru Srila Prabhupada shown an exemplary spiritual compassion with many difficulties. That is to save the body. Okay, so
Yes Prabhuji. Thank you Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Brahmaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, right? We can stop here. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha Siddhanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada. Jai Gaura Premanande. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Okay, Hari Bol. Yeah, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Giriraj Prabhu ki jai.
Hey, Satyadev Prabhu ki jai. Andar ki jai. Shri Gopal Prabhu ki
Thank you,
jai.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
And Madhavi Mataji ki jai. Shilpa Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
They were joined and due to different services they left. Andari Vaishnavulaki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantram one time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much. We will see you in the evening. Hare Krishna. Mataji, Shilpa Mataji, we can wrap up. We can close the call. You are ending the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Shilpa Mataji. Okay. Mataji, we can leave anyway. Done. Okay. Mataji will
Yes,
close.
Prabhuji. Yes, I'll end the session here. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.